Pixar has been getting lots of praise thanks to their computer animated movies, and it seems that the Cars franchise is the least appreciated. You got some reasons to hate it as well as some to like it. For the young folk, a spin-off series that takes place in the world of Cars has been made, the Planes franchise. I've got a podium with 5 spots on it. That's room for 1 per film. Before telling you which movie gets what spot, I'll raise the spoiler alert flag in front of you, just so you can fuel up and use your gas wisely. If you're ready, start your engines when I say, ka-chow! Hey, I'm Owen, the fiction fanboy, and here's my top 5 Cars movies. Planes, Fire and Rescue. Can you believe this sequel came less than a year after the original, and said original played the Marvel card with the character will return at the end of the credits? Okay, putting that aside, Fire and Rescue has Dusty most likely ending his racing career since his gearbox got busted, and going past limits will make him crash. Refusing to return to his crop dusting roots, he wants to become a firefighter, which turns out to be harder than he thought it was. This movie felt kind of boring, almost to the point that even kids may not enjoy this due to the lack of entertainment. I'll admit that the writing down everything Chug says part made me chuckle, but there really isn't a villain unless Cad's carelessness counts. The ending was a bit anticlimactic, with Dusty's sacrifice leading to a major fixing. Whereas the music was almost as forgettable as the movie, a tribute to the firefighters was pleasing to see, knowing how much Disney cares about the world's everyday heroes. Planes. Acknowledging that the Cars franchise mostly succeeds in the box office and toy sales, DisneyToon made a spin-off where the main characters are ones who ride in the sky rather than on the land. Dusty has been feeling that he's been a crop duster long enough and dreams of being a racing plane. Despite getting qualified for the wings around the globe, he fears heights, and the world, including his competition, sees him for where he came from. I laughed for a bit of this movie at moments like when the top 10 air crashers was on, and Dusty being asked if he wants to be the 51st plane to be shot down. And did I mention John Ratzenberger has a role? Making me think he wants a role even in spin-offs of Pixar franchises. Alas, Skipper lying about his war experience wasn't very good, and whatever amount of magic was in the first Cars movie was substantially absent. While I'm not angry, the existence of this movie and the sequel are questionable. Cars 2. Mater is the comic relief character in the entire Cars universe, and one would think making the sequel about him would do justice to the original. Turns out for a majority of Pixar fans, it didn't work for them, and declared it to be Pixar's worst movie. Mater ends up getting involved in a spy mission with Finn McMissile and Holly Shiftwell to figure out why the Lemons are sabotaging racers in the World Grand Prix. Granted, I necessarily don't hate this film or anything, but this probably would have worked better as a spin-off, and I wouldn't call it Cars 2. Lightning McQueen should have been the character to pitch into, and Francesco Bernoulli would be more fit for an antagonist than Sir Miles Axelrod, who has no motivations or huge enough backstory to make us understand his purpose to make alternative fuel look bad. There was a good bit of humor here, and the spy car stuff was interesting, although this be a gigantic Mater tall tale for a few to skip. Cars. Was giving Cars human characteristics the most creative idea Pixar had? No. Strangely, this was my childhood, and perhaps a part of you is wondering, of all the Pixar movies to consider your childhood, it's this one? And the answer is yes. Lightning McQueen's recklessness and jerkishness is what ends up tying with the Kane and Chick Hicks in the final race of the Piston Cup season. Things got worse for McQueen once he ended up being a prisoner in Radiator Springs and sentenced to fixing the road he damaged. He later learns that Radiator Springs was a popular place to stop on Route 66, and he's got to slow down, accept the detours in his life every now and then. Chick Hicks is a good example of what Lightning could have become if he was a selfish jerk and never knew of Doc Hudson's history. Moreover, the soundtrack is phenomenal, with Rascal Flatts' version of Life is a Highway being the best song in the entire series. Undeterred by my happiness towards this sensation in my early youth years, the last flick you almost certainly expected to top this one was Cars 3. Seems that the third time really is the charm for this family movie franchise. Race car retirements have been going around almost as fast as people catch the flu, yet Lightning McQueen didn't want to have any of it coming to him by saying he decides when he's done, disregarding his biggest accident. Storm is a high-tech racer who wants to end McQueen's racing life forever, and Lightning made a deal with Sterling that losing will lead to him becoming a brand, and winning will let him continue racing until he desires to stop doing so. Mater's screen time has been kept to a strict limit after all the criticism Cars 2 received, and there are visions of Doc Hudson, in case anybody missed him from the first cartoon motion picture. Pun entirely intended. Much like the two Pixar sequels that released in the last 2 years of the 2010 decade, the animation got updated. Cruz was a nice addition to the roster, excluding the McQueen is old joke, and provided a new spin on racing. Not everyone might be entertained by any of the Cars movies. Still, supposing some of you are curious, watch the first and third Cars movies if you or any youngsters have a passion for racing. Want more fiction? Then please do what my friends say, comment below, and follow me on Instagram for thumbnail previews and teasers for upcoming YouTube videos. Fiction Fanboy has finished this video. Everyone keep fantasizing, and good night-o.